I'm gonna teach you how to sound like this on Bandlab.
You can download this preset, link in the description, or the pinned comment. Whoa.
Before we begin, if you like this vocal preset and want to download it for yourself, you can do so by clicking the first link in the description or the pinned comment. Without further ado, let's get started. So the first thing is the auto-tune, and you might think because it's like country and like folk leaning that it wouldn't have that much auto-tune, but you'd be surprised just how heavily processed a lot of these bro country and just like modern day country artists, how processed their vocals are. Like for me to have it sound similar, I put it up to 92%, which is quite a bit. So if you want to have that like modern day country sound like Morgan Wallen, then I would say do that. Then I added a noise gate, and essentially what this will do is anytime that you're not singing or rapping or performing, usually there's going to be a bunch of white noise in the background, and what the noise gate is going to do is, depending on where you put the threshold, it's going to remove that white noise. I put the attack at really quickly at 1 millisecond with a release of also really quickly of 100 milliseconds, and I put the threshold at negative 32.6. For me, that worked best, but this is something that you kind of have to test yourself to see what's a good sort of threshold to have to let your vocals come through while removing background noise. Then I added the first of two EQs, and all I really did was I left the low and basically the high at 0. I know it says 0.3, but that's like such a minuscule difference. And then I went to the mid sweep. I found the frequencies that were the most annoying to me, so around 584 hertz. And with the mid knob thing, I lowered it down to negative 2.1 decibels. Not removing it entirely, obviously, but just enough to not make it so omnipresent in the mix. Then I went a little more surgical with the graphic EQ. So what I did was anything under 100 hertz, as you can see, I lowered it negative 4.4 decibels. From 200 hertz to 800 hertz, I boosted it around 2 decibels. I thought that was appropriate. And then everything else I left basically at 0. There's a 0.6 decibel increase in the 1.6 kilohertz, but it's such a minuscule thing. If you're trying to level up your music career and want to upload your music to Spotify, Apple Music, you name it, click the second link in the description, because that's going to get you 7% off of DistroKid, the best music distribution platform on the internet. It's already only $20 for you to upload an unlimited amount of songs and albums, so 7% off that is even better. Again, second link in the description. Now back to the tutorial. Then I added a de-esser, and essentially this is to remove the sharp S sounds that appear in your vocals sometimes. I went to the frequency knob and put it around 9,000. I thought that was the most appropriate. And then the threshold, I really didn't de-ess it that much. I only put it at negative 1.8 decibels. I thought that worked best. Now for the compressor, and similar to the autotune, these guys that have their vocals really processed, they really compress the hell out of their vocals. So I put a really fast attack of 100 milliseconds. The release, I put it decently around 373 milliseconds. The threshold I put at 3.5 with a ratio of 8:1, which is pretty standard for vocal compression. And then I put a makeup gain of 6.4. Finally, I added a studio reverb. It's one of those things where you don't really hear it at the beginning, and I wish there was like a pre-delay setting in one of these reverbs. It would be much more professional, but this works regardless, where it'll mostly just be like a tail end that you'll hear in the background. But it's not, please, for the love of God, do not overindulge in reverb. That's like the number one thing I hear with new artists and producers, that just makes me know they have no idea what they're doing, where they add so much reverb, it's insane. Like it just sounds like you're in a bathroom. So 39% really isn't even that much in the grand scheme of things, because it gets drowned out a lot by the instrumental. And like I said, it's usually just like the decay tail end that you hear at the very end that gives it that nice touch that I like. Then for tone, I put it at 64%, and room size I put at 30%. Again, if you like the example I used at the beginning and want to download that vocal preset, you can do so by clicking the first link in the description or the pinned comment. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell for more tutorials like this. I do it on a wide array of genres and artists. It doesn't matter from what country, it doesn't matter from what style. I'll do it. Just comment below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.